Hi Taurus, welcome to your January 2023 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, so as you can hear, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I apologize for any coughing, spluttering. Let's get straight into it. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for your, can you believe, right? You've been given a brand new year to do whatever you choose with it. Make it something great, all right? Be in that space of gratitude and live well. For your actions and options this month, you have the Chariot card. So you come into the year roaring. Okay, fair enough. It's kind of like new year, new me, new everything. Chuck everything out, including the baby and the bathwater. Jokes aside, the Chariot card is a very fast card. And remember, your actions... excuse me. Your actions and options are, this is what you do. I shall say your actions and interactions with the world at large. The Chariot being very fast, it is a card of victory and success, and it's a card of winning. This is you coming out on top this month. So there's something maybe that you've worked hard for, maybe something that you've had to give, and this is the feeling that I get from the Chariot card. It's like you're having to give some last ditch effort. There's something where you're having to find like an extra layer of strength, an extra layer of power, an extra, push for something this month. And it's like you will be successful, but it's like, those last sort of 20 steps up the mountain, they're always the hardest, right? Because you've got literally, it's like the last, you're drawing on those deepest reserves of self. And that's the feeling that I get from this Chariot card. So just be mindful around yourself. You absolutely will come up trumps, you will come out on top, but think about how much you're pushing yourself in order to have that happen. A really good example of this, and this isn't to say this is going to be the whole year, this is just this month, right? And obviously remember, we've got Mars retrograde at the beginning of the month right up to the 12th. We've got Mercury retrograde at the beginning of the month right up to the 18th. So just be mindful that you are in a sense swimming against the tide here. So you just want to be mindful of what's happening around you and also your own energy levels. The reason I'm going to give, and that's why I've given you that backstory before I give you this example. If you ever used to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith, this is like the episode where Aunt Viv goes back to dance school. And right throughout the whole episode, she's kind of a mess, right? And then she goes in and she absolutely kills the class, right? And then gives a little finger snap and walks out high and proud. When she gets out of the class and no one's looking, she's like, this might be one of those moments. And so I'm going to say to you, either which way, you come out on top. But wouldn't it be better to come out on top and sustain that? And that means if you have to take it a little bit slower, in order to have the results and the fruits a little bit longer, it will be worth it in the end. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Page of Cups. Whatever you're doing this month, it's very likely you're going to be culminating or completing that over the course of July of 2023. So whatever you're setting into motion over the course of this month, you're collecting at a later date. All right, so that's really nice. Now, when it comes to connections, communication, that Page of Cups does suggest that you're putting your heart and soul into something, right? This is you really examining how you feel about something this month and asking yourself, do I believe this is worth it? Whether this is work, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is, this is you really getting to grips with something this month and saying, right, this is how invested I am in this, or I'm not. Right, and look like there's a moment of pure honesty, which is great. For your heart and half this month, you've got the 10 of Wands, so there could be some shake-ups in the home sector this month. All right. Now, there's a few ways that this could happen. One of them could be this could be where you are, for a lot of you, maybe potentially initiating a move. Very possible. It could also be where you're starting to look at the relationship and have some of those really deep conversations about how you move forward. All right. This is also a time where you're really, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this is where you're really looking at your relationship and asking yourself, what are the burdens on this relationship, and where is it that we actually talk at each other rather than to each other? So, you know, you're searching your feelings this month. You're doing your work. The question is your partner pulling their weight in this regard? So there could be some, not necessarily intense conversations, but there could be some very intimate and very deep conversations this month that really help either clear the air or help you understand, okay, you know what, we've reached an impasse, and if we don't get past this, then maybe, just maybe, it's going to be time for us to kind of go our separate ways. It's about true honesty this month when it comes to your relationship. Listen, I told you, if you've been with me long enough, I told all of you 2023 was not playing with anyone, and so far we're into it, right? And I'm looking at all the signs and I'm like, okay, right, 2023 is not playing with anyone. This year in general, I've said to everybody, even if you find it hard to be honest with other people, be honest with yourself. That heart of hearts, that little silent voice that you usually try to ignore or squash down, you better listen to it this year. All right. Now, for those of you that are single, especially those of you that are single that are either planning to travel or planning moves, moves to different places, etc. For some of you, you could be thinking about moving for a significant other or a potential significant other. I would say if you're thinking about changing your location this month, make sure it's for you. For your money and materials, you got the Knight of Pentacles. So Taurus is making their money moves. I make money moves. All right, I love it. This does suggest, though, that whatever you're doing financially this month, it is for the long term. So there's nothing short term here. There's no big sort of boosts to the finances. There's no big dips to the finances either. They stay the same, but there is you making a very solid financial plan this month. Now, for some of you, this could literally be focused on where I'm going to live next. All right. Now, in terms of things that you probably end up spending money on, it's going to be your car this month. I'm sorry to say, it'll be your car, your vehicle, specifically and particularly for those of you that have like bigger cars, 4x4s, camper vans, all of those kinds of things. Like if you've got that kind of vehicle, I'm sorry to say, but do expect to spend a little bit of money on it this month. All right, for your first week of the month, you have the Sun card. Beautiful, right? This with the Chariot card, there's definitely travel here. So for some of you, you could be traveling right out the gate, like right at the beginning of the year, you are off on your travels. For some of you, you could be planning them. For others, this could be some really good news that comes in from a distance, probably from overseas, especially if you've got your own business. This could be news that comes in and it's kind of like, wow, you know what? I can't believe this is happening. And the fact that it is, it means that I can kind of throw myself into something. It means that I've got something else to focus on. It means that I've got something else to put my time, effort and energy into, which is absolutely fantastic. So I love this for you. For your second week of the month, you've got the Star card. I mean, the Sun card coupled with the Star card is literally represents astrology. So if you've ever thought of studying astrology, if you've ever thought about becoming an astrologer, if you were thinking, you know what, 2023, I think I'm going to take an astrology class. This is your message, right? This is the universe saying to you, get to it, start studying astrology. This is future plans that are starting to come good. In terms of communications, it's your friendships and your friendship ties that are really playing a supportive role for you this month. And also, that second week of the month, there's some really good news about your future. So there's a lot to look forward to that shows up for you right out of the gate at the beginning of this month, which is fantastic. For your third week of the month, you've got the Magician card. So when it comes to relationships and partnerships, the Ten of Wands and the Magician, I am going to say this to you. For those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments, You need to find out where it is that you are deceiving yourselves. Where is it that you are kind of just going along with whatever is easy? So like I said, there's not necessarily intense. There's going to be a lot of deep, intimate conversations between you and your significant other this month, which I actually think is a very good thing because it's a way of you clearing the air. The Magician card can be trickster energy, right? And remember, Mercury's retrograde at this moment in time in the sign of Capricorn. Now, it will go direct on the 18th, well, let's say the 19th, right? So it will go direct on the 19th of, it will go direct on the 19th of January. So, you know, you've got that sort of working in your favour, but my biggest sort of piece of advice to you on this whole front would literally be mindful of where it is that you're telling yourself something, or maybe you're allowing yourself to be convinced of something that in your heart of hearts you don't believe. That's not to say that you and your partner are lying to each other. It might just be that the thing about Taurus energy, you like the easy life, right? You like no drama. You like it chill, you like it familiar, and all of those things. And sometimes when we prefer those things, we kind of let a lot of other things slide. This is a time for deep honesty, because in your heart of hearts, you already know what it is that you want. For those of you that are single and looking, you could be meeting someone this month who is very powerful. It may be on your travels. It could be through a friend or somebody that maybe that lives at a distance. Again, remember, we've got those planets retrograde. You just want to make sure that you're getting what you're being sold, okay? For your fourth week of the month, you got the Judgment card. So the travel that you're doing this month, especially if it's around this fourth week of the month, it's to somewhere that you have been before, all right? So wherever you're traveling to, it's not a place that's brand new to you. It's a place that you know, potentially surrounded by people that you know. Now, earlier I said to you there might be an issue with a car. If that is the case, it's an issue that's come up with the car previously, all right? So the fact that you've got the Chariot, not the Chariot card, the Knight of Pentacles with the Judgment card, this is a recurring issue. And if that's the case, this might be a time for you to start looking and saying, okay, what is the next sort of value? What's the next sort of valuable option here? Now, for your new moon in the sign of Aquarius, for you, this is happening in your 10th house of partnership, your 10th house of career, social status, and your legacy out in the world. This is how you show up to other people. It's the most visible part of you. It's the persona that you project out into the world, how people know you. So when people say RAF, Radiant Reality, that's my 10th house in action, all right? You're having a new moon in that space, a fresh start, a brand new start in your career, which is very exciting. And for this, you have the gate 15 and humanity. So this is what's known as a love gate, and it's known as the love of and for humanity. I find this really interesting because you've already got the star card. It's not in the same week that we're having the new moon, but it's just interesting that it's showing up here anyway. Now, this kind of suggests to me that this new moon for you, which is happening on the 21st of January, this is really about how you can truly be of service to the world and how much you love what it is that you are doing. Where it can be shaped, tweaked, or honed is going to show up for you around that new moon. The full moon, however, on the 6th of January is in the sign of Cancer, which for you is your 3rd house. Now, this is if you are, so remember, whenever I'm talking about the astrology of the moons, I'm always talking about your ascendant first, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, but still very relevant. Your 3rd house is your day-to-day communications. It's it's the websites you visit, the things that you read daily, it's the things that you look at, it's the way that you speak to people, it's your local environment, the shopkeeper that you see every other day when you need milk or whatever. That is the 3rd house kind of in a nutshell. And the fact that you're having a full moon there, something about your environment, or potentially something to do with a sibling as well, could be coming to a head. Remember, a full moon is a culmination, a completion, or an ending. And so there's something in your communicative experience that's likely to be coming to fruition at this point as well. And your full moon message is the gate 2 and direct. This is very interesting, especially with what I was saying about the Magician earlier. This direct card for me always says, go straight to the horse's mouth. All right, don't take somebody else's word for it. Don't, listen to or pay attention to what you heard on the grapevine or any of that stuff. Forget that. Go straight to the source. If there is information that comes up around this third house, maybe you hear something in your local environment and you think, hang on a sec, that's about me, or that's to do with my family, or that's to do with ... Don't, listen to, if you're going to do investigative journalism, then yes, obviously follow it back to its source. But my advice would be, whatever comes up in that space around that full moon, go straight to the source, right? If somebody says to you, oh yeah, so-and-so told me this, don't go, literally go straight to that person. Don't even let this person that's gossiping here finish their sentence. Go direct, okay? With that said, this actually does look like a very nice month for a lot of you. It looks like a month to get really clear on things, which I like. Happy damn New Year to you. I truly hope you have a wonderful solar return. It's not Taurus season, ref. I really hope you have a wonderful New Year and a brilliant January. Take care, and I'll see you soon.